Hello, everyone. It's time for Vanished Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanas. This is episode 201, season 9. Today's date is February 25th, 2023, and welcome to the show, and welcome to a new season of Vanished Chicagoland Stories. On today's program, I will talk about my memories of national food stores that were located in the Chicagoland area. Also, the radio station FM 100. I will talk about my memories of that station as well. And should be a lot of fun. And I'm very excited for this new season. Right now, the program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Posh Puffs Tissues. Fancy Kleenex, that's what it is. So here's a commercial from 1977. If you listen closely, you would recognize one of the actresses that is talking when she's speaking. After the commercial is over, and when it comes back to me, I will tell you who it is. Okay, it should be a lot of fun. You can try to guess if you'd like. So here is the commercial, and I'll be right back. Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful apartment. Beautiful cold, like the red nose. That's no way to treat a sore nose. Posh Puffs, stunning. And Puffs feel softer, less irritating. Tissues are tissues. Close your eyes. Hands out. Oh, come on. Rub each one on your nose. This one's softer. Puffs. Soft and beautiful.
Puffs. The softest way to treat a sore nose.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Posh Puffs Tissues. One of the women that is speaking in the commercial, that's none other than actress Audrey Landers. A lot of TV fans would recognize her voice, and she's famous for her role on Dallas, the primetime soap opera. She played Afton Cooper, and she's a lovely, lovely person. Her sister is Judy Landers. You may know her from Vegas. So as far as I know, I don't know if they're still acting. I haven't seen them on TV, but I remember watching Dallas during its heyday in the 80s. And she was there, and also Vegas I watched. That was during high school. This commercial aired probably during my freshman year in high school, right, or last year of grade school. Puffs is still made to this day. So I haven't bought Puffs in a long time. Kleenex is expensive. Everything is. Of course, Kleenex is still there. They have Scott tissue, but it's Scotty's. That's still made. And, but sometimes I buy the store brand names, which is fine, But Puffs, I remember, Puffs are soft. They are. Yeah. A good product. Just very pricey, but, if you have the money, go for it. Okay. At the beginning of the program, I mentioned that I will talk about national food stores in the Chicagoland area. Also, I'll talk about FM 100, the radio station in Chicago as well. Before I get started, I will mention that, we reached 200 episodes, and that's a milestone for me. And after almost 2 years, it's great. I'm very blessed, and look forward to doing 200 more. We'll see. And, I got a lot of feedback from people on social media. They said, good for you. I'm very happy for you. It's amazing. The second anniversary of Vanishing Chicago Stories, the podcast, is coming up next month. And I will plan something, an anniversary show. We'll see. Maybe the best of the episodes or something big that is related to Chicago. We'll see about that. I have time to plan it. Yeah, we'll see about that. So the podcast is doing well. It's growing popularity. People are talking. I still get the usual feedback. You do a lot of ums. I like your podcast. You are stuttering. I'm nervous. I've told this many times. I'm very nervous because I'm not an actor. I'm not a journalist. I'm just me. I'm just doing something that is different and exciting at the same time. It's fun. It really is. Okay, let's get started. First, we're going to talk about FM 100. So this is a very interesting topic. So I'll talk about the history of FM 100 and its beginnings. Okay, and this radio station started in 1948, and it had different call letters all this time, and so I'll break it down as much as I can. So we'll see about that. Okay. It started, like I said, it began broadcasting in 1948, and the call letters at the time was WFMF. It was owned by, believe it or not, a holding company from Marshall Fields. And it's also by one of the family members, Marshall Field III. He owned that. And it was aired as beautiful music format. We're all familiar. And it used to, this was broadcasted in department stores, mainly in Marshall Field's department store. So in the old days, when you went shopping, like, for example, at State Street or in Evanston, in Oak Park, where else? Like Park Forest, you name it. All the Marshall Field stores that were located then, or at Old Orchard in Skokie. And the studio, the station was originally located at the Carbide and Carbon building down in the Loop. A lot of people are familiar with that. I think it's on Michigan Avenue somewhere. I don't know the exact address. And then in 1957, it was sold to a family, the Rosenfields. They were sold by Maurice, Lois, and Jerome. And Lucille. Yeah, 4 people. And it was the most popular radio station during dinner time. I don't know why. I guess so. So it was one of the first beautiful music, FM, like that at the time. And then it was sold to another broadcasting company, and they moved the transmitter to the John Hancock Center when it was built. It didn't exist then, like that. And the call letters for WFMF lasted from 1948 to 1974, and then they changed the call letters to WLOO. And a lot of that is the one that most people recognized if you grew up in Chicago, including myself. And they retained the beautiful music format, and they threw some pop songs as well. Adult, contemporary, a few in there, not much, but mostly it was like that. And it's funny. They played this radio station when you go to a doctor's office or a dentist's office. And I remember that when I was a kid, I listened to that. I even asked a doctor or a dentist and go, well, what radio station is that? He says, it's FM 100. So that one is, it was also syndicated at the time. It was called the FM 100 plan. Imagine that, and that went through WLOO, lasted until 1988, and then they added more vocals, artists, like for example, like Barbra Streisand, Neil Diamond, any artists that were like that. No rock music, no, no. None of that. It was like easy listening. You would just relax. People call it elevator music. I guess it was that called. And then they changed the call letters to WXEZ. This happened in 1988, and that stood for extra easy. And then more vocals were added, and the instrumentals they dwindled down like that. And it was simulcast as on 820. That was WAIT. Remember that on 820? Now it's WCTPT. WCPT. Yeah, it was like that. And because I was interviewed a couple of times on that radio station not too long ago, and let's see. And then in 1990, it changed, this I remember, to The Point. And it was WPNT FM. And it was 100.3 The Point. I remember this during the 90s. I remember listening to that. And then it was also simulcast, also on the other 820 AM, which WCPT did that as well. And then let's see. The funny thing is, lasted for 7 years until 1997. And then let's see what they played. Same thing, feel good music, including some hits. No rock music like that. I like the station. It was pretty good. I like anything. Mostly music I like. It's no problem for me. And then, let's see. Then in 1997, it changed to WNND on October 6th of that year. And they wanted to compete with WTMX, which used to be WCLR. Remember that? And they played to... so it was the 100.3 WAND, and it played 80s, 90s hits, and they also carried a nighttime request and dedication show called Love Notes, hosted by John Simmons. I remember that. As well. And, and then it changed again to WILV. And it was 100.3 Love FM. You remember that? Yeah. Tommy Edwards hosted it. And he hosted, he was the afternoon host, and then he moved into the mornings. Oh boy, I bet he has stories about that. And then he left for 104.3 WJMK in 2011. And it became an adult contemporary format. I mean, the beautiful music left. That was about it. And in 2010, it became Rewind 100.3, and it played 80s music, 1980s music, and then also from the 70s and 80s, like that. And then it sold again, blah, blah, blah. Then it moved back to adult contemporary, like that. And then it was just Chicago's 100.3, like that. But that's a lot. And then in 2015, it became She 100.3, and branded that. And everything stayed the same, And I haven't listened to it in a while, but I'm kind of sometimes it's It's still, if you like a contemporary format, adult contemporary music, it's for you. And now they focus on the 90s and the 2000s, like that. So that's good. I want to mention one thing. I don't know much about the disc jockeys there, but I know one person in particular was Jack Taylor. When he worked at WGN Radio, AM radio for a long, long time, and then something happened and he left. He moved over to FM 100. He stayed there for quite a while. I think he did the news, and I don't know if he had a talk show. Maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah, but he did that for quite a while. So that was mostly in the 80s for that. Okay. Right now I'm going to play the commercial for FM 100. This is from 1987. So sit back and listen to the beautiful music commercial. Actually, it's called Easy Music. Okay, so just sit back and relax. Thank you, everyone.
Of all the places in Chicago, which is the favorite for listening to the easygoing sounds of FM 100?
At work, that's it for me. It makes the whole day go easier.
Stuck on you.
FM 100 is relaxing in the car, but my favorite place is at work. It just makes me feel better.
I listen to FM 100 while I work, at the office, or around the house. It's easygoing music from today and yesterday.
So start your day the easy way. FM 100. Enjoy us at work.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for FM 100. Easy music, beautiful music. I remember one memory of this radio station where you used to see the ads on billboards and also on CTA buses, with that familiar font of that. And with the flowers and, like you escape from this, the city, from the noise and, the traffic, and you just want to go and relax. That is also true. Like that. So that's what this radio station was mostly memorable to most people. FM 100 during the 70s and the 80s, like that. Either you loved it or you hated it. They say most people said that. I'm sorry. Most people said that older people loved it. They really did. They just turned on the radio in their homes and their cars, just listen in like that, which makes sense. Right now, you can listen on the internet. You could, or on HD radio, like how it is, and so like that. So right now it's she 100.3. I think it's just like geared toward women, like that. So that's what it sounds like. But I haven't listened to it in a while. Not for a while like that. So today's music, I know some artists, not much, but I like classic rock, oldies. I stick to that. I stick to Me FM. That's my radio station now. I'm getting old. I'm sorry, folks. I'll be 60 in October. That's the way it is. Okay. Right now, next, I'm going to talk. Excuse me. Next, I'm going to talk about national food stores. I've had a few requests from people to ask me, why don't you talk about this grocery store? You've talked about others. And I said, okay, fine. And I saved it for this episode for the new season. So let's get started. National Food Stores. It was originally called the National Tea Company, and it's NATCO, NATCO, and it has a very interesting history. It was founded by two Danish immigrants, two brothers. Their names were George S. Rasmussen and his brother Thorvald, I don't know. And that was one of the oldest stores in Chicago, and that was founded in 1899, right in the turn of the century. Wow, ain't that something? And by 1920, it went like gangbusters. It just spread around, and it grew and grew and grew, and that's amazing. That is wonderful. And then it opened. It had over 600 locations in the Chicagoland area, but it also expanded to other states. Like for example, I think Indiana, maybe. I think Louisiana, Missouri. I think Missouri, St. Louis had the most like that. And there was a kind of a some of them were sold. They were closed because of the Great Depression. So that was tough. That was very tough. But National Tea remained like that. So in 1955, it was sold, and it was purchased by a Canadian grocer retailer, and then it was later. Oh, first it was named George Weston Limited, and then it was renamed the Low Blaw Company. It's still there, that company. I don't know much about that. And like I said before, the National Tea Company was renamed to National Supermarkets or National Food Stores. And like I said, the states I mentioned, if I've forgotten one, I'm sorry. So it was in Missouri, Indiana, Minnesota, and Louisiana, mostly. And their memorable products was, at first, was Natco coffee, spices, you name it, they had that. And let's see what else. Also, there was Top Treat and Top Taste. They had that. Like for example, Top Treat was the soda, like the sodas. They had that, and I think Top Treat was food items. I believe it was that, like that. Like juices. Well, juices. That's Top Taste. So there was abundance of those. And then then I'll talk about my memories of this, where I first saw the national food stores. I was living in the South Shore neighborhood in the 60s. This one was located on South Exchange Avenue near 75th Street, I think a little north of there. My mother never went shopping there. She's seen it, but she never went there. She went to High-Low Foods that was on 75th Street that was nearby, or my uncle's grocery store on the corner. The funny thing is, my aunt, who, if she wanted shopping, she went to National. Because maybe my uncle didn't carry things but National did. But then they opened the Jewel store on 75th Street, East 75th Street in Crandon. That's a little west of Yates over there. And I remember that when that opened, I remember a little bit about that. And my mom went shopping there. It was a few blocks away. She had to take the bus. She didn't want to walk because she had me and my brothers, and my other brother came along like that. And then when we moved from South Shore to Roseland in the South Side, Chicago, the National that we saw was at 115th Street and Michigan Avenue. It was a little south where we used to live. It was at the Roseland Plaza. It was like a shopping plaza, and there was the Coven Drug Store, also the coffee pot restaurant, and I don't know what other store. And there was National, of course. And my mom went there maybe a couple times. She did that. They had. She liked the store very much and all that. And I remember also they introduced some sodas, soda pops called Orchard Park or something. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Orchard Park. I remember that very well. And during that time, I think in the late 50s or 60s, they distributed green stamps, mainly S&H green stamps. And they also partnered with Magic Kiss, our carpet and rug company. Remember that? So if you went shopping, and then you would go to the checkout line, and then they would give you green stamps, S&H green stamps. I did a podcast episode about them. So they were like brother and sister. They were a family unit with that. That was the only story I remember. But when I posted that I was going to talk about national foods, a lot of people remember they were commenting where they lived in Chicago, and they remember where the store was located. It was fun looking at the locations, but there were so many. I can't tell you all of them, just ones like that. And so that was the only one I know that was in Roseland. I'm sure there were others located there. I'm sure there were like that. And it was, like I said before, it was a good grocery store, very well known. And then when we moved to Ashburn, near Fort City in 1974, there was a national food store in Fort City. And it was there until when the mall opened in 1965. It was there. And my mother told me that we still have a few drinking glasses from that location. We have them in the house. It's a few been broken as time went on, but we still have a few. And I think she had some dishes. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I have to check with her. But I know the drinking glasses we still use them, and that's kind of cool. It's very nice. They were sturdy like that. But then they sold the stores. I don't know the reason why. And then they sold it to A&P, and then they sold them to the Great Atlantic Pacific Tea Company, better known as A&P, in 1976. Or not all of them. They were just closed permanently. There was also a national supermarket on 81st and Cicero at Scottsdale. I know there was. Yeah. Someone told me there was one. Also in Hometown, Illinois. I think that's that photo I posted earlier. A person posted that on my Facebook page, Van Chicagoland. And he said, that's his hometown. I wasn't sure, but, when I lived there, I don't remember seeing it. So it was gone by then. And then there was a Hilo after that, and that closed. It was down the street, or mostly near the Hometown Plaza. I think it's called that. And then it turned to Colony Foods. I think a lot of people who lived in the area at the time, my mom went shopping there always. And she liked the store. She liked the grocery store very much. So National just left the Chicagoland area, but not in St. Louis. I mean, it continued. It continued. It was thriving a little bit in St. Louis and in New Orleans. I don't know about other states. No, probably not. I don't think so. Then they changed the logo of that. Before it was the diamond shape logo that said National. And then it came with the curved, 4 curves like that. And they were also on the products as well, like that. And the national logo was also Loblaws. I can't say that word or name logo. It was turned upside down instead of an N. It was an L. You get the idea, like that. So like that, and then like that. So it's not National is gone right now, so that's a shame. My mom liked shopping there as well, and I did too. And I usually post. I do find photos of locations that were there. I remember, let's see, a few. One was at 111th Street in Harlem. One was in Des Plaines, like Lee Street. I have one from Deerfield. I think there was one in the Roseland area. I just remembered. Yeah, there was one in South Halsted and 103rd. Like that. Yeah, they were like they were great. Like so I wish they could come back, but I doubt it. You know, just like the rest of the grocery stores are gone. Like for example, Dominic's, Hilo Foods, Delma Farms, Treasure Island, you name it. You know, now today we have Jewel is still around, but I heard it's being bought, so we'll see about that. But now we have Whole Foods. We have what else we got? Whole Foods. I can't think of the other one. Trader Joe's, Amazon Fresh. They don't accept cash. Like Pete's Market, which just exploded in Chicago. So yeah. As for independent grocery stores, not that many. You don't find that. They've been closed by competition, or like the owners die, or their family members don't want to continue. I like those independent grocery stores. They're so intimate. You know, you feel like family. That's gone. That's sad. Okay. So that'll be all for today. Do a recap of what I spoke on today's show. I talked about the National Food Stores just now, and also FM 100. That's WLOO-FM radio station in Chicago. So that was an interesting. So that was a very interesting new show for the new season. Yeah, how about that? So this podcast will be published later on, wherever podcasts are available, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Also, it will be on my YouTube channel, Fan of Chicagoland Stories. I started doing that. I posted the YouTube video, so you can listen in. A lot of people requested it, and I think it turned popular. So I will do that. I won't post from the website of where I recorded the podcast. I will use the YouTube channel, and I think it's more easy to access for people to listen. I don't think they like to listen on an app. I don't know why. I think it's for older people like me. Yeah, whatever's easier for you, whatever it is. If you have questions, let me know. You know, I will answer. And it will be once it's uploaded on the YouTube channel, I will post it on my social media accounts on Facebook and Twitter. Also on my blog, vanishchicagoland.blog, if you'd like. So that'd be great. Okay. So this is Pete Costanis, your host for Vanish Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. I usually have another episode on Tuesday, but unfortunately, something's come up. No, not something's come up. I have plans. So I won't be doing a podcast. Maybe Monday. We'll see. If not, then it'll be next weekend. That's for sure. I will do a podcast, and it'll be episode 202. And then because it'll be March by then, and then winter will be almost over. It'll be, well, sort of, past that. Okay, so thank you again for listening to me, and everyone have a great day. And here is Ray Rayner with a little traveling music saying bye, bye, bye. And here's bye, bye from me. So long, and take care, everyone.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.